The greatest Stoic quotes to overcome negative thinking. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius's quote underscores the core Stoic principle of recognizing what we can and cannot control. By valuing external things, wealth, status, or others' opinions, we surrender our control, as these are inherently uncertain, unpredictable, and subject to change without our consent. This creates anxiety, dissatisfaction, and perceived instability. In the quest for inner peace and stability, by focusing on what we can control, our responses, judgments, and actions, we maintain our equilibrium, regardless of external circumstances. This perspective fosters resilience and contentment, reducing emotional turbulence. Invest emotionally in your internal self, not external factors. This shift in focus doesn't mean ignoring the world, but rather engaging with it from a position of inner strength and stability. By doing so, we gain a more balanced, tranquil, and ultimately controlled life, embodying the Stoic philosophy's essence. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. This quote by Marcus Aurelius encapsulates the Stoic philosophy's central tenet: differentiation between things under our control, our mind, thoughts, and reactions, and those outside it, events, circumstances, people's actions. Aurelius advises us to recognize our mental power. By realizing we can control our responses to external events, we can shape our realities. This realization is a source of strength, empowering us to navigate life's challenges with resilience and composure. A proactive mindset, urging us to exercise control over our mental and emotional states. It discourages the passive acceptance of external influences on our happiness and peace of mind. In conclusion, the strength Aurelius refers to is the inner resilience and tranquility achieved when we understand and apply this Stoic principle. It's a call to action to cultivate an unshakable mind, irrespective of external circumstances, leading to a more fulfilled and balanced life. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus Aurelius. This quote, attributed to Marcus Aurelius, underscores the principle of maintaining one's integrity and not stooping to the level of those who may harm or offend us. It emphasizes the idea that our behavior and responses are within our control, even when the actions of others are not. The term revenge usually implies an eye for an eye response, but Aurelius suggests that the best revenge is to remain true to our values and principles, no matter how we're treated. This not only preserves our dignity and self-respect, but also prevents us from being consumed by negativity or bitterness. The quote instructs us to rise above personal animosity and maintain our character, even in the face of adversity. It teaches the strength of compassionate resistance and moral consistency, a powerful lesson in maintaining our peace and integrity amidst conflict. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Seneca's statement emphasizes the human propensity to suffer more from imagined scenarios than actual events, a core concept in Stoic philosophy. This arises from our ability to project fears into the future, often creating distressing hypotheticals that foster anxiety and stress. Our perception of events, shaped by personal biases and thought patterns, also contributes to this suffering. This awareness prompts us to focus on managing our thoughts and perceptions, a cornerstone of cognitive behavioral therapy. By practicing mindfulness and rational thinking, we can mitigate our imagined suffering. The profound lesson here is that our minds wield significant control over our emotional well-being. Recognizing this, we can actively work to reduce self-inflicted suffering, promoting a more serene, contented existence. Understanding this principle is not just a philosophical exercise, but a practical tool for personal growth and mental health. Cease to hope and you will cease to fear. Seneca. The statement, "Cease to hope and you will cease to fear," also originates from Stoic philosophy, suggesting that both hope and fear are centered around future events. This perspective asserts that by letting go of hope, which often entails longing for a specific uncertain outcome, the corresponding fear, the anxiety about not achieving that outcome, also dissipates. Stoics promote focusing on the present moment and accepting things as they come, instead of becoming attached to potential future realities. This philosophy encourages us to take actions within our control, accept what isn't, and thus live with equanimity, reducing the emotional turbulence caused by hope and fear. This doesn't mean abandoning all aspirations, but rather adopting a balanced view that mitigates anxiety and fear. Ultimately, this can lead to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Wealth is the slave of a wise man and the master of a fool. Seneca. Wealth is the slave of a wise man and the master of a fool underscores the role of wisdom in managing wealth. For a wise person, wealth serves their needs and goals, contributing to a fulfilling life without dictating their actions. They control their wealth, using it judiciously as a tool. Conversely, a fool is enslaved by wealth, consumed by the pursuit or preservation of it, often compromising on values, relationships, or peace of mind. The statement highlights the importance of financial literacy, emotional intelligence, and the understanding that wealth is a means, not an end. The underlying lesson is to cultivate wisdom to master wealth and not let it master us. It's a call to align wealth with genuine personal values and life's purpose, promoting a balanced, contented existence and cautioning against the potential pitfalls of materialism. Only time can heal what reason cannot. Seneca. This quote acknowledges that while reason and logic can explain much, there are some experiences and emotions that simple rationalization cannot remedy alone. Events which cause deep hurt, loss, or anguish often elicit feelings that the mind cannot think its way out of. They instead require natural processing through the gradual passage of time. Time allows for distance from the wounds of yesterday, perspective on problems that once loomed so large, and softening of sharp edges by the blurring effects of memory. It notes that as days become weeks and months, a gentle healing can commence that was denied in heated or vulnerable moments by our limited ability to reason away raw reactions. Only after a period of endurance does sufficient emotional scar tissue form for us to look back with greater composure. This expresses a wisdom that while reason serves us well, it cannot replace the salve that time provides to soothe what intellect could not. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. Epictetus. Epictetus understood that true disturbance comes not from external events themselves, but from the internal lens through which we perceive and respond to those events. Reality is often far simpler than the stories and meanings we ascribe to what happens. When threatened, our minds tend to catastrophize rather than maintain perspective. But by training ourselves to observe objectively, without reactive judgment, we gain the power to choose views that support well-being over distress. Difficulties arise not from the things life presents, but from allowing their significance to be defined by transient emotions instead of reasoned evaluation. By acknowledging that events are just experiences, with no inherent quality beyond what we attribute, we undermine our tendency to be overwhelmed and maintain inner calm in the midst of any circumstance. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Epictetus. Epictetus advises focusing efforts on the factors we can control rather than expending fruitless energy worrying over externals we cannot change. Life will always present uncertainties and obstacles outside our control, from forces of nature to the choices of others. But an inner sense of agency comes from directing power to influenceable decisions rather than feeling buffeted by waves of fortune. By optimizing use of our capabilities, skills, and opportunities, we express self-determination even amid wider ambiguities. And by accepting with equanimity that which lies outside our domain, we remain untroubled and able to respond resourcefully. This echoes ancient teachings on distinguishing the mutable from the immutable, on shaping what is malleable through will yet flowing with ease through what is not. It is a prescription for individual empowerment within a world of limits. A ship should not ride on a single anchor, nor life on a single hope. Epictetus. This wise proverb draws an analogy between onboard navigation and life's journey. Just as a ship risks being vulnerable to forces out of its control, if depending solely on one anchor for stability, so too individuals put themselves in a precarious position by pinning all their aspirations or security on any solitary hope or plan. Life is unpredictable, circumstances change, and even the most reliable assurances may prove fragile. The proverb advises diversifying our anchoring points and visions, so that if one fails, others can still offer support and motivation. By distributing hopes across multiple attainable goals and backup options suited to our capabilities, we build resilience against inevitable setbacks while enriching existence with layers of potential fulfillment. Well-anchored ships withstand storms, and versatilely inspired lives maintain poise through difficulties. Man conquers the world by conquering himself. Zeno. Zeno understood that true power and victory lie not in domination of external forces, but in mastery of one's inherent nature. As long as human experiences are shaped more by uncontrolled impulses, weakness of will, and lack of self-awareness rather than intentional direction of character, we remain at the effect of every distressing stimulus. Only by gaining authority over inner drives and domains, usually left chaotic, such as emotions, thought patterns, relationships and habits, can one then reliably navigate life's challenges from a place of sovereignty. Through disciplined cultivation of virtue, understanding of one's mind, and alignment of conduct with higher principles, an individual harnesses the greatest power of all, influence over self. And he who holds power over self holds the keys to navigate any circumstance on life's stage from a position of freedom rather than bondage.